Martin said that he got to glance through it a bit. So I suspect this is going to be a pretty short meeting.
Okay.
Because really, we're still waiting for things to get along to the point where we can actually get things for the next set of teams to do. Because the way we had talked about the last time is the ideal project team was going to flesh out what they were going to do. Then Martin's team was going to look at the finance part of that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll benchmark the things for that. And just part of partnership thing will sort of relate to it. Any specifics he needs to build in, he can tweak to the draft. And then we're going to roll into June. So ideally, we've got a couple weeks here to sort of move things along. If we can do that. I mean, I know we've all got work stuff. I actually don't have, well, I don't have work. I don't have stuff that I'm getting paid for, but I have work that I have to do, or else I'm in deep trouble, which involves a lot of writing the next couple weeks. But I will be fairly available. The good thing is I'll be at my desk doing that, so I will be available to meet. So my calendar is pretty flexible, just as an advanced thing on that, to 20 dates that you may be looking at for the ideal team meeting.
Okay. And then I would just like to mention that a few moments ago, probably like less than 20 minutes, I emailed the group the outline that I actually wanted to share with you and Martin both.
Oh, great.
And I was hoping like if we could review that and then see
Sure.
your input or any suggestions on how I can do any revisions.
Sure. Let's can you screen share that so that we can all see it?
Sure. Give me just a second.
Yeah, I could probably like give you. Yeah, I mean, once I get to my destination, I could probably take a more detailed look at it and give you some comments.
Yeah,
Okay.
because Martin is on the road, so he's on audio. Right
I see.
now. But we can walk through it a little bit and get some detail for you here.
Okay, give me just a second.
Sure.
So I'm working off of dual monitors here.
I am doing the same thing, so I can relate to this.
Okay, let me go ahead and share.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great.
There's that one. Just okay. If you want access for each one.
Would you like me to zoom out or zoom in or?
I think you're fine now. We'll just sort of scroll through it a little bit at a time. I definitely like the lead in. Okay, so here are the issues that we need to address. Okay. And you can scroll a little more there. Yeah. Okay. To CPNs. Yep. That looks familiar.
And then the last one's pretty brief, AlbanyNet.
Right, strengthening existing providers. I think this is a great start. What I might lead in with this would actually, from my mind, would probably come later in the doc, because I think if you go back to the top of it, I think your lead in is great. In addition to administrative functions, the formation of a newly created Office of Municipal Broadband, I think where we want to start with is the idea that that the recommendation is to create the Office of Municipal Broadband with a broadband coordinator.
Okay.
And then we talk about how it's modeled sort of on the same thing that they did with the sustainability program and the sustainability coordinator, and what their job duties would be. And here are the issues that they'd be dealing with. These are the technical issues. The administrative issues would be a different section. That would be my rec. would be-
Okay, gotcha. Right, writing this down.
Okay, so the administrative issues would be to manage partnerships with public and private sector, public, private sector, and not-for-profit sector, and government partners. To share, to share access and cost.
And
And
stakeholders as well.
right, and
Right.
and the public. Basically, it's a stakeholder and partnership function. Creation of in cooperation with the office of council, mayor's office, et cetera, the necessary documentations for requests for proposals and requests for bids related to the provision of municipal broadband services. Staff management. Budget.
Okay, so actually go ahead and define that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like spell it out completely.
As much as we can. I mean, they'll,
Okay,
again, I think the most important thing is they don't have to do what we're telling them to do. What we're saying is, here are things that occurred to us that this person would have the responsibility for.
I see. Got it.
And here's what that would look like. And actually what we might want to do, Jess, is there a description on the city website for the sustainability coordinator's responsibilities?
I believe so. I can check.
If you could, and if that's out there, if you could share that by email with the whole group, that may give us a sort of a guide of the kind of things to include.
Sure, I could do that.
Because if we're modeling it on the same idea, then that would be a good way to go. And we'd say that this person would report to the CHIN, to the CIO, to the CIO for the city. So it would be within the umbrella of the CIO. But this is external facing versus internal facing IT.
Right. Good. That would be useful to actually refer to the sustainability coordinator as well. To
Yeah,
actually get some ideas off of that.
yeah. I'm just saying that would be a good resource. I mean, there's no need to reinvent the wheel if we can just relabel it.
I agree and understand. Right.
Yeah. So that's what I've got. Martin, Josh, what do you think?
I think it looks good. I definitely will need to, read over it more after the meeting.
Right.
But I think it definitely looks good.
Okay. Thank you.
Martin, did the stuff that I said make sense to you? I mean, I know you haven't had a chance to look at what Jess has up here because you're on the road, but
Yeah, sorry about that. I will say that, I think there are elements in which, it does tie into, what I've written about. And
good.
I think I will, as I, take a further look into it, I will, my comments will probably revolve around, things that, the possible changes I might make to my section, or
Yep.
in that line of thought, I guess.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And Josh, what we can do is look at it from the point of view of what can we benchmark for other for cities that have followed the same kind of model. Do they have an internal coordinator? What's the responsibilities if we can find it on their sites? Does that person have, and what is their role? To see if we can help with that, with defining those terms. I'm thinking that makes sense. And the piece that I can speak to from Jeff's point of view, what we had talked about, one of the things for the partnership section is looking at creating a board, sort of like the water board, that would be chaired by the broadband coordinator. That's based on a public private collaboration model, where those who have agreed to commit resources to the project, be it tech, be it people, be it skills, sit on that board and have a vote as to what they recommend to the mayor and to the city council. It has the advantage of encouraging buy-in,
Right.
and mitigating risk. So not all the cost risk would be on the city, which is, I think, one of the things that we're looking at too. How can we make this a fiscally responsible model that is sustainable as well? And I think that is one way that we can look at doing that. It's the framework that Jeff and I talked about is one that they use for a lot of smart city project work. It was developed by the World Economic Forum. And I know that when we get his part, I think you'll see a little bit more about that. So I think we have some good pieces here. That's great, Dave. That's really great. That's really great work. That's a very good start for us, which makes me very happy. All right. Diana, do you have any other things you wanted to show us or ask us?
No, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate the input as you was chatting. I was taking notes.
Sure.
But I think buy-in is critical because it would make the interest of this become more attractive to stakeholders and potential investors as well.
Yes, and I think that's true. I think the other thing, and I know that one of the concerns we had was when we could do outreach about this kind of thing.
Right.
In looking back at the ledge that created the commission, we submit our final report in June. And then the commission itself, actually, I believe, can continue to exist for an initial 6 months beyond that point. The idea being, if there was any outreach that needed doing, we could then do it in support of the final report. If all we have to do at that point is an outreach portion, including reaching out to people that might want to be part of that board, I think that would address some of the concerns that we had about how are we going to get the outreach in and still get the report done on time. I'd still like to get out to the public if we can prior to submitting the final report. But let's see how things go. Oh, my camera is going a little wacko here. Hold on a second. See if that fixes it. There we go. Hopefully that'll last. Okay.
But I think the public outreach will bring this full circle.
Yeah.
And I think it's like rightly justified as well.
Oh, sure. I mean, this is the thing that will, if they actually move ahead and do this, it'll impact anyone in the city. It'll impact the people that pay taxes. It'll impact people that need the service, people that have service. So yeah, we definitely want them to have a chance to speak to this and to read about it for us to deal with any questions that come up. But this is, I think, a very defensible strategy that takes a stepped approach to getting us there. And I think that's a good approach too. I mean, it's a more sound approach. Let's put it like that. Great. Okay. All right. In that case, does anyone else have anything they wanted to bring up? Looks like we lost Martin, and I know he said he might be going in and out of where he could be reached. So, Josh, did you have anything that you wanted to bring up?
Nothing in particular. The budget is done now, so I
Yay.
am finally
Oh, great.
Hey, that's great news.
I can
Yeah.
finally be more active.
I think we're all breathing a sigh of relief on that one.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you for a second to turn off the recording because we're going to go into executive session for just a second.
Okay, hold on.
Sure.